Akshaya, Akshaya.
Ma'am,
Tell me the topic what I taught last class, ma.
ma'am, understanding the customer.
Understanding the customer. Good. So we were discussing about few points under the topic. What do you really mean by understanding the customer? Then we follow some methods, right? Steps involved for understanding the customer. Step 1, step 2, 5 steps. The first step alone we have discussed last class, right? Step 1. What is the step 1 title? Anyone can tell me? Before going for the steps, we were discussing about understanding customer. Some 3 methods, right? Can anyone tell me the 3 methods? Ankam. Unmute and reply. Yes, what are the 3 methods?
Choosing customers, the art of listing customer need data, documenting interactions with customers.
Yes. In that we have seen 3 methods involved, right? At the beginning of before involving step 1, gathering raw data. Don't leave the meeting in between.
Interviews,
Yes, good.
focus groups,
Yes,
observing the product in use.
good. So under understanding, we were discussing about some methods to be followed. Then we have proceeded with how to choose the customer. In our environment, there are a lot of customers, age, people, or gender. We differentiate the customers. So to your product to buy, who are the customer? You have to choose those few points we have discussed. Then the art of eliciting. Not all the people can compromise the customer needs, can understand the customer needs. You have to know that art of eliciting. So what are the general hints given for us to understand the art of eliciting? Can anyone tell me? General hint.
Elicit an honest expression of needs, ma'am.
What are the side headings we have covered under art of eliciting?
Gathering needs data in very different from sales call.
Okay.
Go with the flow.
Yes, good.
Have the customer demonstrate.
Hmm.
Watch for non-verbal information.
Hmm.
Be alert for surprises and the expression and latent needs.
That's right. Last is non-verbal communications, right? Then we have yes, good. So most of the points clearly said. And today we'll go for. I hope all are learning the concept, whatever I'm sending you in your groups. Have a regular study. Can you see the slide? Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, under product design and development subject, we have started with unit 1, introduction part. We are covering all the important side headings as well as the main headings topic. Under understanding customer, there are 5 steps involved. As usual, some people will be for us for disturbing. So topics for today is, as we have already covered under understanding customer, step 1. What is the step involved? What are the methods to be followed for gathering the raw data from customer? So here, raw data, just understand what is raw data here. Something called source code, atomic data, or primary data. Okay, data that has not been processed for use. Because of processing, raw data sometimes ends within database. Some discussions between the customer and the business people, those information is acting as a database here, which enables the data to become accessible for future processing and analysis in a number of different ways. So general thing you have to know about raw data. So in first step, we are focusing on gathering the raw data from the customer through some methodologies, and after analyzing through interviews, focus groups, observing on their product use of existing use product, we are getting the points of customers, we are getting the raw data. Then we go for what type of customer have to be chosen for our product. The heart of eliciting, some general hints have to be followed. And anyone can tell me what are the side headings covered in for documenting interactions with customer? Yes, reply.
Audio recording, notes, video recording, still photography.
Very good. So these are the things we have to maintain for the documentations when we go for the first step in gathering the data, raw data from the customer through interviews, focus groups. Those things are documented. So methods all we have followed. Today we are going to cover all the headings, left out headings under understanding customer alone. So step 2, interpret. What do you mean by interpret raw data? You have to understand. What do you mean by interpret? Understand raw data in terms of customer needs. So from the previous step, step 1, we have understood after the discussion through interviews, all the documents are maintained through audio, video, all those informations. We have the raw data in our hand after the discussion made with the customer. So with that raw data, you have to understand that raw data. இப்போ ஒரு simple example, ஒரு meeting conduct பண்றாங்க ஒரு institutionல, some minutes of meetings points would have been noted down. நோட் பண்ணிட்டு அப்படியே உட்கார்ந்துருந்தா எந்த ப்ராசஸும் நடக்காது. ஓகே, we have to clarify whether this is a real discussions been discussed, these are the steps have to be changed. Okay, you have to understand what is a real discussions done during the customer and business process. So interpret means understand the raw data in terms of customer needs. கஸ்டமருக்கு உள்ள ரெக்குவயர்மெண்ட்ஸ் நீட்ஸ் இந்த இன்டர்வியூல நடந்தது, அந்த இன்ஃபர்மேஷன்ஸை நம்ம டாக்குமெண்ட் பண்ணி அதை அண்டர்ஸ்டாண்ட் பண்ணணும். செகண்ட் இஸ் திஸ் தேர்ட் ஒன் இஸ் ஆர்கனைஸ் அ நீட் இன்டு ஹையரார்கி. எதுக்கு மேம் நம்ம ஆர்கனைஸ் பண்ணணும் அந்த இன்ஃபர்மேஷனை which is got from the customer? Because why the discussion is with the customer? ஒரு ப்ராடக்ட்டை நம்ம கம்பெனி மூலமா அவங்க வந்து கிரியேட் பண்ண சொல்லியிருக்காங்க, இதெல்லாம் ரெக்குவயர்மெண்ட்ஸ் வேணும், இந்த டெக்னாலஜி எல்லாம் யூஸ் பண்ணணும். நீங்க டிஸ்கஷன்ல தெரிய வந்துச்சு, இன்ஃபர்மேஷன்ஸ் ஹேவ் பீன் கேதர்ட், வி ஹேவ் டாக்குமெண்ட் இன் அவர் ஹேண்ட். With that document we can proceed for the development process of the product. We have to analyze those data. So which are said to be primary need, which are said to be secondary need. For example, ஒரு ஸ்மார்ட் போன்ஸை டிசைன் பண்ண சொல்லியிருக்காங்க with some specifications, some metrics. So which we have to focus as a primary need. Primary need na key need. எது ரொம்ப முக்கியம் ப்ராசஸருக்கு? குவாலிட்டி, எந்த ப்ராடக்ட் வந்து இதுதான் பெஸ்ட் குவாலிட்டினா அந்த ரிலேட்டட் இன்ஃபர்மேஷன்ஸை ஃபர்ஸ்ட் கம்ப்ளீட் பண்ணணும், அதில் ரொம்ப ஃபோக்கஸ் ஆகணும். வெதர் தட் ரெக்வயர்மெண்ட்ஸ் இஸ் செட் பை த கஸ்டமர், வி ஹேவ் டு கிளாரிஃபை அகெயின் வித் த கஸ்டமர். ஸோ இது பெரிய ப்ராசஸ். as we have already discussed, understanding customer it's itself a particular process when compared to the whole product development process. கரெக்டா? ஸோ இஃப் யூ அண்டர்ஸ்டாண்ட், இப்போ ஒரு சாஃப்ட்வேர் இன்ஜினியரிங் ஒரு டயக்ராம் பார்த்துருப்பீங்க when you are learning the first page. Customer will ask to the people, company people to design a product. அவங்களோட ஐடியா, அவங்களோட நீட்ஸ் வந்து வேற மாதிரி இருக்கும். ஃபார் எக்ஸாம்பிள், ஒரு ட்ரீல ஒரு ஸ்விங் வித் டிஃப்ரெண்ட் மாடலா, இந்த ஸ்விங் வித் 2 or 3 ropes interconnected, ஐ நீட் அ ஸ்விங், அதை வந்து நீங்க ப்ராடக்ட் தான் எனக்கு கிரியேட் பண்ணுங்கன்னு சொல்லிட்டு கஸ்டமரோட நீட் இப்படியா தான் இருக்கும். If you are not properly understanding the customer need, then there will be a big mismatch for the upcoming procedure. Example, customer need நீ ஒழுங்கா அண்டர்ஸ்டாண்ட் பண்ணிக்கல அப்படின்னா, if you are wrongly understanding the customer need, the requirement, then that particular information will be passed to the development team. What development team, in their own perspective, they think about their own product, maybe customer இது மாதிரி தான் நினச்சிருப்பாங்க அப்படின்னு ஒரு மிஸ்மேட்ச் ஆகும், அப்படியே ப்ராடக்டோட டிசைன் சேஞ்ச் ஆகும். Did you have noted that diagram? Say yes or no? ஸோ டெவலப்மெண்ட் டீம் வந்து ராங்கா பெர்ஸ்பெக்ட் பண்ணியிருப்பாங்க கஸ்டமர் நீட்ஸை. ஸோ தே வில் டிசைன் வித் 5 or ropes ஏதோ டிஃப்ரெண்டாக கொடுக்குறேன்னு சொல்லிட்டு அவங்க ஒரு டிசைன் பண்ணுவாங்க. தென் இம்ப்ளிமெண்டேஷன் பார்ட்டுக்கு அது வேற மாதிரி போகும், இண்டஸ்ட்ரியல் டிசைன் பார்ட்டுக்கு இது வேற மாதிரி போகும். அட் லாஸ்ட் what will be the final product? If you see that software engineering, that diagram, the final product will be just a swing, just a one particular rope, only one rope holding a tire. That is the final product. But what the really customer needs of the product will be entirely different from the final product. So this is the very important thing you have to understand. This particular customer needs statement நீங்க frame பண்றீங்க இல்லையா, that will implement your final product. So understanding the customer is a tedious one. There are a lot of steps involved in that. So after gathering the raw data from the customer, after the discussion done by the customer, step 2 is you have to understand what is the real requirements of the customer in terms of customer need. What is the technology, what are the parts they really want to, everything should be clearly understood. Step 3 is organize the need into hierarchy. That only I have told. It is created into primary need, secondary need, tertiary need. When we go for tertiary need is if the product is a complex product. If it is a normal product, then only 2 hierarchy will be framed. நல்லா புரிஞ்சுக்கோங்க. இம்பார்ட்டன்ஸ் ஒரு ப்ராடக்ட் வந்து இப்போ கஸ்டமர் வந்து டிஸ்கஷன்ஸ் அப்போ தே வுட் ஹேவ் செட் திஸ் கலர் ஷுட் பி இன்க்ளூடட் இன் த ப்ராடக்ட், திஸ் ஸ்டைல் ஷுட் பி இன்க்ளூடட் இன் த ப்ராடக்ட், பட் தட் இம்பார்ட்டன்ஸ் கேன் பி கிவன் அட் த லேட்டர் ஸ்டேஜ். அதெல்லாம் கொஞ்சம் ஃபாஸ்ட்டாக கம்ப்ளீட் பண்ணுற ப்ராசஸ். ஸோ தட் ஆக்ட்ஸ் அஸ் அ செகண்டரி ஸ்டேஜ். Primary needs means which is a key point. The software you're going to use, the hardware you're going to use, the components which you are going to integrate together to give the quality of the product. I think you're able to understand. So those things are classified into primary needs. So other than the organizing the needs level points. Last before step 4, establish the relative importance of the needs. Okay. Once you have framed in the hierarchy, you have classified the customer need into primary level, secondary level. So this, whether we have correctly classified, we are correctly classified into hierarchy, that have to be analyzed with the customer. You have to communicate with the customer. Either directly you can go in personal, or you can directly go through, you can call to the customer through phones and tell about the customer needs statement, whether this is the real requirements you have expected from our product. So that will be classified in this, clarified in this step 4. And last is, after the discussion with the customer, after some review meetings conducted by the companies, then a final customer needs statement will be framed. These are the real points involved in the steps. Now we'll go for interpret raw data in terms of customer needs. If you really understood the step 1, then you can understand step 2. Step 1 la full and full focusing on keeping interview to the customer, gathering to 8 or 12 customers as a focusing group. Then after the discussions, those documents are maintained, and now it have to be went for the analysis part. So step 2 is understanding the raw data. So customer need or express as written statement, or the result of interpreting the need underlying the raw data gathered from the customer. So whatever I have discussed in the interview, whatever we have discussed in the focus group, all the documents have to be now taken out. What are all the taken as a written statement now have to go for analysis part. Analysis is understanding. There will be a group available in the company. They will analyze what are the real requirements of the customers. They form a groups, discuss about the statements. Observations may be translated into any number of customer needs. So whatever points given by the customer now will be noted down, will be given importance. Okay. Next. Don't get shocked when you see these points. Very simple points. Step 2 la enna question get enna the heading, you have to understand what is the raw data. For understanding and maintaining that customer needs statement properly, each and every company should maintain this customer needs statement in a proper manner. then only there will be no mismatch with understanding with the development team, implementation team, testing team. So that some guidelines have to be followed, some procedure have to be followed to maintain a proper writing of the customer need statement. So what is that? First one is express the needingana customer need, customer discussions la kudutha points. So express the need in terms of what the product has to do. And students, listen these information. At last I'll show a video which you can easily link with that video and understand the customer need statement properly. So first point is the need in terms what the product has to do. அப்ப நீங்க எழுதுற கஸ்டமர் நீட் ஸ்டேட்மெண்ட்ஸ் எப்படி இருக்கணும்னா, ப்ராடக்ட் இது மாதிரி தான் ஃபங்க்ஷன் ஆகும், ப்ராடக்ட் வில் பெர்ஃபார்ம் திஸ் வே, ஸோ வாட் த ப்ராடக்ட் ஹேஸ் டு டூ, த ஸ்டேட்மெண்ட் ஷுட் பி இன் தட் வே, நாட் ஹவு இட் மைட் டூ இட். இது செய்யலாமா வேண்டாமான்னு அந்த ஸ்டேட்மெண்ட்ஸ்ல இருக்கக்கூடாது. கஸ்டமர் நீட் ஸ்டேட்மெண்ட்ல திஸ் இஸ் த ரெக்வயர்மெண்ட் given by the customer, this have to be fulfilled in the product, like that only should be. It should not be how it might do it அப்படின்னு இருக்கக்கூடாது. What the product has to do. Customer often express their preference by describing a solution concept and an implementation approach. Okay, however, the need statement should be expressed in terms independent of a particular technological solution. Every customer will expert there some technology used in the product. So the customer need statement should clearly explain that point. So what is a real concept? The customer expert, how the implementation approach is going to be. All the things should be involved in that customer need statement. Independent of a particular technology should be used. Okay, these are the guidelines you have to follow. Express the need as specifically as a raw data. So needs here, you all know it's a customer need, customer requirement. After the discussions, whatever information they have given, that is in our hand. To properly frame the customer need statement, we are following these guidelines. So this needs can be expressed at many levels of details. As I already told, or a document information mariye vechirundha, we will not get a clear cut idea how to proceed for our product development. So what we have to do, we have to classify it accordingly, which is a primary need, which is a secondary need. Fine. So what are the key importance have to be given for the product? What are the something can be ignored or done at the faster moment at the end of the product? So you have to analyze, classify into its hierarchy. To avoid loss of information, express the need at the same level of detail as the raw data. So whatever raw data we have in our hand, kindly we have to mention with its different level, whether the specified information given by the customer is act as a primary key or secondary key, we have to classify it. So the statement should express this. For example, customer during the discussion tell about this is a particular metric to be used for an hardware, this is a particular software to be used in the product அப்படின்னு இருக்கும்போது you have to automatically create the hierarchy. Primary need, this hardware and software. Secondary needs, some style or colors to be included set by the customer, that acts as a secondary. Normally you have to write a customer need statement in a positive manner, not a negative phrases should be used. What is that, ma'am? Need into product specification is easy if the need is expressed as a positive statement. For example, after the discussion of the customer insists some information to be included in the product, this can be done marida irukanum need statement, which is not possible appdin irukakudadu. Anything what you want, this can be done or it can be proceeded after we get this materials from appdin mari irukakudadu. Only if it is possible, yes, you can surely implement this raw materials asked by the customer, then the statement should also be like that. Okay, false statement should not be put. Okay, because this will be analyzed by the customer again, so they have to accept our product concept. So the statement should also be in a positive way. Subsequent translations of need into product specification is easy if you put into a positive manner. Express the need as an attribute of the product. What do you mean by attribute? The particular need mentioned by the customer act as a quality of the product. So you have to consider the customer need in that case, which resembles the quality of the product. If any one of the need mentioned by the customer is missing in your customer needs statement, automatically you are not satisfying the customer at the end of the product. So you have to see to that. So attribute of the product is nothing but the customer need, quality. Wording needs as statements about the product ensures consistency. What do you mean by consistency? Steadiness. When we focus on quality, then the product becomes steadiness, and all the facility mentioned by the customer also fulfilled. So you have to focus on those things. Avoid the word must can be the other must should be done. இது வந்து பண்ணணும். You have told during the discussion this things all have to be included, can be done. illa must should, that words should not be used under the customer needs statements. Got the point, students? So the word must and should implies a level of importance for the need. Okay, so avoid the word must and should when you are framing a customer needs statement. Any doubt in this 5 points? The guidelines to be followed when you are writing the customer need statements? Please reply. Just remember all the keywords alone. Say yes or no, students. Yes, reply. Yes, any doubt? Okay. So try to inflict with the previous thing. We are under the topic customer. Okay, we are going to understand the customer. Step 1, after gathering the data. Step 2, how to understand the raw data, and we have to form a customer needs statement. That only we are proceeding now. What are the follow-ups? What are the 5 guidelines you have to follow when you are writing a customer needs statement? This particular thing happens only after the step 1. After the discussion with the customer, this step is involved. Step 3, after framing the customer needs statement, we have to organize that needs into hierarchy. That I have already told. What are all comes under primary needs? What are come under secondary needs? The goal of the step 3 is mainly to organize the needs in a proper way. ஒரு plan இருந்தா நமக்கு ஈஸியா ஒரு development team ko, design team or implementation team to convey the proper concept will be easier for us. So they have decided in the step 3 to organize all the needs, customer needs, into one hierarchical form. So the list will typically consist of a set of primary needs. As I have already told, what is the primary need? The key parts or key components of a product that have to be focused first. So you have to classify that into primary needs, each one of which will be further categorized by the set of secondary needs. Some extra fitting, some stylish way we have to create the product. Those things can be listed under the secondary needs. இப்போ ஒரு கார் எடுத்துக்கிட்டா இன்ஜின், மோட்டார், பேட்டரி அதெல்லாம் இல்லாம ஒரு கார் வந்து ரன் ஆகாது. ஸோ யூ நோ which is having the primary part, primary key component needed for any of the product. Like that, even in the smartphones, if the processor and the software supporting, இப்போ apps download பண்றீங்கன்னா software support பண்ணலனா no use of using the smartphones, right? So what are the key factors that have to be analyzed and classified under primary needs? In case of very complex product, okay, like ஒரு பெரிய giant machines வந்து invent பண்றாங்கன்னா again there will be extra hierarchy level. One will be the primary, one will be secondary, one can be again subdivided into ternary. So the primary needs are the most general needs, whereas secondary and ternary are express needs. Now at the last moment we can fasten up the process and complete the product design. So அதெல்லாம் வந்து secondary and ternary needsக்கு முடிச்சிடலாம். The very important key factors needed for a products are classified under primary needs. The procedure for organizing these needs into hierarchy list is a natural thing happening in all the companies. Okay, it's a initiative. It's a natural thing. So many teams can successfully complete the task without detailed instructions. Why they are telling this point is, when we follow the step 3 in organizing the need into hierarchy, then automatically when the customer need statement consists of this hierarchy, when this customer need statement is passed to the development team, okay, they can understand, okay, these are the primary need for a customer, these are the secondary need for the customer. So each and every time to those team members, we need not give the instructions that you have to focus on this primary key, you have to focus on secondary. So customer need statement, when it is having these details, then successfully we can complete the task. So without detailed instruction given to each and every team. Any doubts you have in the step 3 process, students? Kindly reply. Say yes or no. Unmute and reply.
No, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you. So next, step 3, organize the need into hierarchy. Okay, ma'am, organize paniyachi, primary, secondary and ternary according to the customer needs. We can classify into which is a very general need for a customer, which are the secondary need. Okay, in this organizing also we follow some procedure. Very simple. So after the discussion, we have a document, right? We have a handwritten statements followed by some key notice, then audio recording, video recording. From that information, we have a printout form, right? We have a document which has happened during the discussion session. So that print or write each need statement on a separate card. So after discussions, after the step 2, after following these 5 guidelines, we are writing the customer need statement. That customer need statement is taken as a print or write each need statements on a separate card. They maintain some card, okay, method where they write in each and every card which is a primary needs, which are the secondary needs, which are the ternary needs, like a self-stick note mari. A print macro can be easily written to the print the need statement directly from the data template. So the data template will be maintained in each and every firm, each and every companies. So that similarly, what is the customer needs will be classified and will be noted in the using this data template. We will be noting. This is the first process. Second, when you are going to write a separate, you are going to write a need statement in a separate card, you can eliminate some redundant statement, unwanted statement given in a customer discussions, and which are all not possible. Those things can be neglected. So eliminate redundant statement. Those cards expressing redundant need statements can be stapled together. Which are all the primary need can be stapled together, which are the secondary or some redundant which can be further considered at the end of the product. Adhu mari cases nama or separate document maintain பண்றது. Treated as a single card, that is put as a together. All the redundant na unwanted, okay, no longer needed, useful, not useful adala. Be careful to consolidate only those statements that are identical in meaning. Identical means during the customer which points are being unique, some concept oriented, some technical oriented. Those have to be identified and consolidated and framed as a statement. This is how we have to organize the need into a hierarchy. Next, group the card. Why we have to group the card? As I have already told, the hierarchy followed by primary, secondary, ternary. Group the card according to the similarity of the needs they express. So what are the similarities? Hardware, software requirements is acting as a key or general process. So it is classified under primary. That is grouped into primary. So create a group of roughly 3 to 7 cards that express similar needs. கிட்டத்தட்ட இப்போ ஒரு ஹார்ட்வேர் டிசைன் பண்ணோம்னா இந்த சப்போர்ட் இல்லாமல் ஒரு ஹார்ட்வேர் டிசைன் பண்ண முடியாது. ஸோ அதை ஒரு செப்பரேட் 3 to 7 கார்ட்ஸ் செப்பரேட் பண்ணி அது ஒரு குரூப் பண்ணுங்க. ஓகே, ஹார்ட்வேர் ரெக்குவயர்மெண்ட்ஸ்லேயே some subdivisions will be, software requirements some subdivisions will be. These all things you will be clearly understood when we go for further units in the product டிசைன் அண்ட் டெவலப்மெண்ட். ஓகே, சப்ஜெக்ட் இப்போதைக்கு நீங்க அண்டர்ஸ்டாண்ட் பண்ணிக்கணும் என்ன மாதிரி ப்ராசஸ் நடக்குதுன்னு சொல்லிட்டு. ஒரு ப்ராடக்ட்டோட நம்ம டிஸ்கஸ் பண்ணுவோம் ஃபர்தர் யூனிட்ஸ்ல. ஸோ குரூப் த கார்டு அக்கார்டிங் டு த சிமிலாரிட்டி ஆஃப் த நீட்ஸ் தே எக்ஸ்பிரஸ். ஓகே, ஒரு ஹார்ட்வேர் ரெக்குவயர்மெண்ட்ஸ் வேணும்னா ஒரு ஹார்ட்வேர் டிசைன் பண்றதுக்கு சில செட் ஆஃப் காம்பனன்ட்ஸ் வேணும். ஸோ அண்டர் குரூப் லைக் பிரைமரி குரூப் hardware, some subgroup will be. Similarly, again primary needs software, some set of software support needed to integrate for the general or primary key. So at this point, the team should attempt to create the group of roughly 3 to 7 cards that expresses similar needs. ஸோ இதை டிபெண்ட் பண்ணி தான் இந்த ஹார்ட்வேர் இருக்கு, இந்த டிபெண்ட் பண்ணி தான் சாஃப்ட்வேர் இருக்கு. ஸோ இதெல்லாம் வந்து இந்த குரூப்ல வரும். ஐ திங்க் யூ ஏபிள் டு அண்டர்ஸ்டாண்ட். ஸோ லைக் தட் யூ ஹேவ் டு குரூப் த நீட்ஸ். த லாஜிக் பை விச் த குரூப் ஆர் கிரியேட்டட் டிசைட் த ஸ்பெஷல் அட்டென்ஷன்ஸ். ஒரு ஹார்ட்வேர் கிரியேட் பண்றதுக்கு இந்த காம்பனன்ட் இல்லாம ஒரு ஹார்ட்வேர் கிரியேட் பண்ண முடியாது. ஓகே, இன்டகிரேட்டிங் திஸ் ஆடர் அண்ட் ஃப்ளோட்டிங் பாயிண்ட் ஆடர், யூ கான்ட் ஃப்ரேம் எனி ஆஃப் த கால்குலேஷன் இன்சைட் அ சாஃப்ட்வேர் இன்டகிரேட்டட் ஹார்ட்வேர். ஸோ இந்த மாதிரி நிறைய திங் இருக்கு இல்லையா. ஒரு காம்பனன்ட் இன்பில்ட் பண்றதுக்கு நிறைய சப்போர்ட்டிங் காம்பனன்ட் தேவைப்படுது, பார்ட்ஸ் தேவைப்படுது. ஓகே, செமிகண்டக்டர்ஸ் நிறைய இருக்கும். ஒரு அது நான் சொல்றது ஸ்மார்ட் போன்ஸ்க்கே. ஸோ லைக் தட் த லாஜிக் பை வித் த group are created desire special attentions. When you go for primary needs, we have to focus on these things. For each group, we are going to label. Why we have to label? As I have already told, once the customer need statement is clear, then it will be very much clear to the development team, and it will be very much clear to the implementing and coding and testing. It goes on. So to make them understand in a better way, these procedure are followed. For that is called as organizing the needs into hierarchy. Okay, for each group, when you are going to label, so primary group, hardware, in that we are labeling the first part needed to the customer. ஏதோ ஒரு லேபிள் கொடுக்குறோம். ஓகே, இப்போ ஒரு லைப்ரரிக்கு வரீங்க, ஒரு புக்கை சர்ச் பண்றீங்க, ரிலவெண்ட் இடத்துல போயிட்டு சர்ச் பண்ண மாட்டீங்க, விச் இஸ் ரிலவெண்ட். ஸோ அதுக்கு ஒரு லேபிள் கொடுப்பாங்க. ஓகே, ஃபார் எக்ஸாம்பிள் ஒரு கீ நம்பர், இந்த ரிலேட்டட் சப்ஜெக்ட்ஸை வந்து இந்த 236 அப்படின்னு ஒரு நம்பர்ல போயிட்டு சர்ச் பண்ணா உங்களுக்கு கிடைக்கும். லைக் தட் சம் லேபிளிங் இஸ் கிவன். ஓகே, பட் 237க்கு யூ கேன் கோ அண்ட் சர்ச் ஃபார் சயின்ஸ் ரிலேட்டட் புக்ஸ். 236 you can go for data structure related books to be searched. So whenever you go for labeling, then we can easily identify the needs. The label is itself a statement of need that generalize all of the need in the group. It can be selected from one of the needs in the group, or the team can write a new needs. If suppose இப்போ ஒரு கஸ்டமருக்கும் பிஸ்னஸுக்கும் கம்யூனிகேஷன்ஸ் இருந்துட்டே இருக்கும். That only we have discussed. Under the concept development process, the ongoing activities are customer needs checking, benchmarking of products, right, competitive products, then building and modeling the prototypes. இது வந்து parallel நடந்துட்டு இருக்கும். In the onlining activity, if suppose the customer in between ask to include some specification in the product, then we have to that acts as a new need statement. That need statement will be included when we easily group and label the needs. So if ஏதாவது ஒன்று இன்க்ளூட் பண்ணணும், அப்டேஷன்ஸ் இருக்கு கஸ்டமர் கிட்ட இருந்ததுன்னா, you can easily maintain that needs in the proper grouping when we are mentioning under a particular label. Able to understand, students? So this is the procedure followed in organizing the needs into a hierarchy. Very simple. Print or write each need statements on a separate card. Eliminate all the redundant statement. Group the card according to the similarity of the need they express. For each group, choose a label. If any of the need have to be included in between when we are grouping and giving a label for it, then it is easy for the team to write a new need statement in that. Last 2 points. Consider creating super groups consisting of 2 or 5 groups. Why we have to depend on super groups in case of complex products? If you are going to create complex product and the customer needs is more in that, so if there are fewer than 20 groups, then 2-level hierarchy. இப்போ ப்ரைமரியே சப் ப்ரைமரி மாதிரி ஆக்கிடலாம், secondary again sub secondary மாதிரி. So 2 levels of hierarchy we can split and we can classify the importance of the customer needs. So organize the data in that case. The group label are primary needs, the group members are secondary needs. So however, I think you're able to understand because all the groups are being labeled. So label வச்சு தான் நம்ம ரெஃபர் பண்ண போறோம் group. So that's why they have mentioned here label is acting as a primary need and group members are acting as a secondary needs. So however, if there is more than 20 groups, the team may consider creating super groups in any of the complex products. Automatically there will be a third level of hierarchy. You need not get more confused, just very simple. According to the product, the customer needs will be more. So we are just grouping that needs into hierarchy level. If you go for super grouping, 2-level hierarchy have to be followed. The process of creating super groups is same way as normal group creations. Each and every group will have a label. Similarly, super groups will have a label. That only the point. The process of creating super group is identical to the process of creating groups. And last, after organizing all these informations in a hierarchy, all the needs into hierarchy, after following these steps, we have to go for the review. What do you mean by review? We have to go for the review and edit the organized need statement. Some discussions will be within the organization after framing. Okay, there should be no single correction arrangement there. Correct arrangement. No corrections should be. Adha சொல்ல வராங்க. At this point, the team may wish to consider alternative groups. For example, after the review, if they have found that this need will not come under the primary need or this need will not come under secondary need, everything will be finalized and alternation of group may occur. Got the point? So label or may engage another group to suggest alternative arrangement. So during this reviews, they will identify whether properly we have framed the customer need statement. After organizing the customer need statement, any corrections are made, everything will be finalized. If suppose any of the groupings are mismatching, alternative grouping idea will be given and the label for it also will be framed. So this is done under step 6. Review and edit the organized need statement. Any doubt in step 3, students? Please reply. Any doubt?
No, ma'am.
Yes, okay. And last before step 4 and 5 தான் simple தான் points இல்ல. Okay. At last, after the review, we have finalized, we have edited some organized group. This can be better way, this can be better way. Everything is finalized and we have framed the final customer need statement now. Now, after finalizing the customer need statement within the organization, within the team members, now we have to establish to the relative importance of the needs. Meaning is, you have to communicate with the customer. That is very, very important. Step 4 is a very, very important thing for understanding the customer need. Why we have to establish the relative importance of the needs? To clarify whether this is a real statement given during the discussion. Is this the real requirements needed by the customer to our product? So the team should point in this point have developed a rapport. After these informations are gathered, after the discussions, what is this rapport means? A close or harmonious relationship understanding between the customer and the business will come. Okay, a bonding between the customer and the business people will come in this step. Establish the relative importance of the needs. If we have really understood the customer need during the discussions, after following these guidelines and framing the customer need statement, after the reviews, if it is really satisfied with the customer, then there will be a good bond between the customer and the business people, product development team. So that is the point here. If there is any of the mismatch also, we can compromise in this discussions, and we can finalize. So the step 4 involves in establishing the relative importance of the need. After doing the step 1, step 2 process, after following some guidelines, we have framed the customer need statement. Okay, then we have organized it properly, and whether we have organized in correct group in primary need or it's a secondary need. And after the discussions of this, now we have to take that customer need statement and discuss with the customer. If the customer need statement is satisfied after finding with the 5 guidelines, everything, then it forms a good relations with the customer, with the group of customers. So these same customer can be surveyed to rate the relative importance of the needs. Same customer we can use for consulting with the metrics, dimensions to be used, metrics values to be used for our product, hardware specifications. So same customers can be used for clarifying us in all perspect that has been identified. The survey can be done. How this step can be involved? Either the people who are working in a particular firm can take down this customer need statement and approach the customer in personal and explain about, is this the real requirements you have told to create our product அப்படின்னு discussion பண்ணலாம். இல்லனா by phone, telephones. Okay, is this the real needs you expert? Or through internet, sending the customer needs statement to them, clarify their doubts. So this is the step 4. Step 5, after finalizing the discussion, after promoting your customer needs statement to the customer, clarifying any of the doubts to be included, or is that the grouping is correct, everything is discussed. Then at last, what will be the result? If suppose customer, after reading your customer needs statement, telling that I didn't expect this, idu na sollala, but you have noted this, that can be rectified. Or else, yes, this is one thing I have expected, the specifications are clearly mentioned in your customer needs statement, so I accept your proposals அப்படின்னு சொன்னா everything will be finalized in this step 5. Reflect on the result and the process. Only this step 5 will finalize whether we can proceed our product or not, or anything have to be included, or any mismatch in the grouping will be finalized here. So the final step in this method is to reflect on the result and process. இப்பதான் வந்து அடுத்த லெவலுக்கு நம்ம மூவ் பண்றதுக்கு this step 5 is very important. Process of identifying the customer needs properly only in this step 5 can usually be structured. Till now we were just organizing, we are following some guide, we are gathering the data, we are choosing the customer, we are compromising with the customer, we are framing the customer need statement. Next, organizations discuss all the things framed have been discussed with the customer now through phones or personal. Then we are finalizing the statement. We are finalizing the, or we are identifying the real customer needs in this process. Can be usually structured here. Structured means planned now, and it's not a exact science. Science means skill கிடையாது. இது நிறைய steps are involved for taking to understand the customer needs. So the team must challenge its result to verify that they are consistent with the knowledge and initiate the team. So here, when you are dealing with step 5, you have to need more knowledge to frame this result and process, to process identifying customer needs. It's a big challenge. As I have already told, understanding customer itself is a process. அப்ப இந்த ப்ராசஸ் எண்ட் ஆகிறதுக்கு எந்த அளவுக்கு நீங்க ஹார்ட் ஒர்க் பண்ணும், எந்த அளவுக்கு we have to understand the customer need to proceed our product development. So it all depends on the knowledge. So it's a big challenge for the team to get this particular result on process. So this will lead to develop through many hours of interactions with the customer. the step 5 will be finalized only after hours of interaction with the customer. Whatever details you know about the product also have to be discussed, and you have to understand the customer mindset. All the things are involved here. Okay, and properly designing the writing statement of customer needs statement, what we have done here. Okay, here this is very important. Writing a customer needs statement is not a easy job. You have to take this much of steps. That's it. Any doubt you have, students, in step 5? Please reply.
No, ma'am.
Now I will give video clippings. You understand what here they have mentioned. User needs statement. User is nothing but the customer only. The customer needs statement, how it's very much important for a particular team like design thinking. So this particular needs statement, how important is it for the upcoming process? Here particularly for a design thinking team, how this customer needs statement plays a vital role. So I'll just send this link in your class group. We'll together follow the process. Okay, just wait. A section. Please follow the students. I also will follow. Start. All have clicked on the link. Say yes or no. Please reply.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, yes. Thank you. Okay, student, did you get it? Reply. Did you all listen? Say yes or no?
Yes.
Yeah, I got an overall idea about how important is this customer needs statement, right? Okay, Jayasuriya, send me the absentees list. If you have
Yes,
any
ma'am.
doubts, you can ask me in personal. And regarding Mindy's fees details, kindly approach me. Just Mindy's alone be in the link. Others can leave the session. Thank you. My Mindy's alone link la irunga. Tarun, Dhanush, AU, Jayasuriya, Asha, அவங்களா இருங்க. Bulugita. Others can leave the meeting. Chandru, Charumati, Tarun.